So after making automotive content on YouTube for a good 10 to 15 years at this point, working on cars, modifications, and maintenance, it is finally time for me to get something for the garage that I probably should have done a decade ago. So I finally bought QuickJacks. So basically this is a hydraulic car lift that'll lift your car up about 2 feet to give you significantly better access to the underside, as well as just general maintenance things you're gonna do. For the last decade to honestly over 20 years since I've been changing the oil since I was a kid, honestly, my parents' cars back in the day, I've been using jack stands. Even when I rebuilt the Lamborghini in this garage, I used jack stands, which get the car up maybe a foot if you're lucky. And not that I'm old, but 32 years old, I am sick and tired of crawling under cars that are only a foot off the ground. It just gets old real quick. With these QuickJacks, it's just gonna make it so much more fun and convenient to get these cars in the air to work on mods and maintenance. So with that said, I bought these. These are the 6000 ELX. This is the only QuickJack, as far as I have seen, that will fit the G80 BMW M3. As you'll see in this video, the jack points on this car are very, very far apart, and the shorter lifts simply don't fit. And as we will see, this thing barely fits underneath the RS3. So this really was my only option. Here is the hydraulic pump right front and center. You have your tank, the control module, and then we're gonna get the 2 different floor lifts. There's gonna be a left side and a right side, and then you're also going to get a couple hoses with it. We have instructions, little bracket thing that probably isn't too useful. I did option some extras like wall mounts. Then I ordered some mounts for the BMW off Amazon, and then another addition were these pinch weld ones for the Audi. So to go ahead and start getting everything set up, let's take a look at the kit. So on each side, you're gonna notice this section. Mine already has this 90-degree valve installed. I have seen some videos where this will come in a separate box. So that's already set. You're also gonna have a bleeder valve right here for the hydraulic fluid going into that solenoid. Next up, right here is for air. This is gonna have compressed air in it from 40 to 50 PSI. I'm gonna do 45 PSI. Moving on to the air now, we're gonna take that solenoid, just like filling up air in your tire, we're gonna take the little top off, pump on, and we're gonna set it to 45 PSI. So fill it up. And a quick 45 later, as expected, we're just gonna pop it and take it off. We're then gonna take this little bolt right here and go ahead and remove it. And go ahead and clean off any fluid that is already in here. And then take one of the shorter hoses and we're just going to simply screw it on together. Then we're just gonna take the end of this and route it straight forward. That way it's not going to get pinched, and then pull it out the side. And then twist this so this ball piece does not line up with that anymore. So next up, same thing for the pump itself. Take it off of the pump section, and then once again. Next up, we can go ahead and fill this up with some oil. So we're just gonna go ahead and take that off, and we're gonna wanna fill it up to about a ½ inch under the top. And with 2 full quarts into it, you can see how we're just about a ½ inch or so underneath that fill line. That is gonna be all you're gonna need to prime it, and then we'll top it off once we do that. So we're just gonna go ahead and loosen these bolts. That way it can start letting air escape. So we'll do kind of a first up and down, pretty simple. I hear a little bit of air. So you definitely heard a lot of air coming out of the one side, and then air came out of here as well, and it seemed like they both then stopped. This one took a little bit longer. Basically, we're getting all the fluid through here, pushing out any air, and as you would expect. So now, let's go ahead and do a test. We're gonna lift these up just a couple inches. Both go up pretty good and pretty even. And then it does work better when you have some weight on them as far as lowering it. So I'm just gonna stand on them, hit down. And once they're all the way down, keep holding it for like 5 seconds. and then let it off. That way we're letting all the pressure out of these hoses so we can then quickly disconnect them and then store them. All right, next up, we need to check our fluid. It looks like we're down maybe to about halfway, so I'm gonna top this off until we get to a 1/2 inch. So let's see how good these quick connects are. I'm gonna go ahead and disconnect them. So we're gonna twist this until it lines up with the ball. And then we should be able to kind of do like an air compressor hose. Now we'll cover this just in case anything has pressure. All right, wow, not even a mess. That is really impressive. So some things to take into consideration with this. This kit can lift a 6,000 pound vehicle. That is the max capacity. M3 is 4,000 pounds. The RS3 is 3,600 pounds. Also worth mentioning, the outside always is the part where you have this safety bar. So that is the outside, never have that on the inside. And then each of these frames weighs 124 pounds. So with that, I'm going to back the car in. So I'm gonna have to flip these around. You can kind of grab it by the sides, and with the wheels, it certainly makes it a lot easier to rotate around. Just make sure you're not going to pinch those hoses. So to now work on getting these under the car, you kind of have to slide them. I have the epoxy floor, so be gentle with your floor, don't just scratch it up. But that is all set. Now we're gonna take the rubber pads. So I'm gonna use these shorter ones, just a nice big block of rubber. And then on Amazon, I went ahead and got these really nice pucks that go into those plastic sections really securely, so it's not gonna damage anything. And this is going to securely fit right there, giving me a really good surface area to lift up the vehicle. And then I'm just gonna slide the smaller puck underneath here and basically loosely line them up. Obviously we're gonna line these up better. And I'm an idiot. I literally put these on backwards. So this is the inside of the QuickJack, should be on the other side of the car. I didn't follow my own instructions. Let's flip it around now. So that was a fun detour. Definitely make sure you don't do that. 124 pounds, not crazy, but it gets a little annoying flipping them, maneuvering them when you don't need to. With that said, 20 minutes later, I'm gonna slowly lift it straight up. And then there are 2 lock points on the lift. So we're gonna just let it get to the first one. It's just gonna rock up and over and make sure nothing up there hits as well. And hold that down button for like 5 seconds just to help relieve some pressure in the hydraulics. And now we are locked up on the first one. This is honestly higher than jack stands already. I've done a decade's worth of work under less space than that. And then here is another look. Jack pads are doing what they need to do. And then here is that safety bar locked into place. The hydraulic, everything's looking really good. Nothing's leaking as well, so always make sure you kind of double check all of this. Actually looks like we might have a little puddle under there, so I'll have to double check that. But overall, looking pretty good, lifting the car up on the first setting. To keep going, we're just gonna take the up, and you're gonna keep going, and then we can get this all the way into that up position, which is gonna be almost like 2 feet. And my mirrors are up to my shoulders. That is proper SUV height. And then I'm gonna have so much space down here to work underneath the car. I can inspect it, oil change it, kind of do all the stuff that I do on a car. And then to go ahead and lower it, we're gonna go back up, get the jacks to move a little bit, and I'm gonna go to this silver piece. Now you can tell these are free. Lifting it up like that and setting it like that is going to unlock that. And then one more quick look, we simply push this up, and now we can slide it down. And also when you use it, take this little hex bolt right here. You're gonna wanna just loosen it a little bit. That'll help relieve pressure from here too. All right, so looks like we're still leaking right out of there. So a new day and a new car. It is the RS3's time to see how well it fits on these ELXs. This barely fits in between the tires. So So what I went ahead and did was drive the front wheels up on a wide 2x4 just so I can get this a little farther that way. So as you can tell, this is sitting here versus this piece back here. So it gave me about 4 inches. And one other modification I did on these pinch weld blocks, I actually cut a thicker channel, as you can tell. The channel they come with are about this narrow. However, this is too skinny to actually fit on the pinch weld without it getting insanely smushed into here to where this would be so hard to get off. And as far as the leak goes for this lower one, I actually found out that the O-ring was pinched in it and it wasn't tight. So I took this completely off, reset the O-ring, and then tightened it back in with that deep socket set. As you can tell, we have all the blocks right up with the pinch weld, and my grooves that I cut really make that sit nice. We're all even all the way across. And then again, for the front, you can see how much it sticks out, but it's not interfering with the tire. And now I can go ahead and knock out an oil change. Well, I still made an absolute mess even doing this. I had that sitting on here. I didn't realize it wasn't centered, and then it started angling, dumped out, brought it down, wasn't paying attention. And now I have a massive oil leak to clean up. However, this is why you epoxy your garage floor. This will clean up literally no issues. And with the first test using the QuickJacks out of the way, doing the oil change on the RS3, this is a pretty sweet setup to really make it so much easier to do maintenance as well as modifications on your car. Aside from my one hiccup of this oil pan making an absolute mess, however, it wasn't even my fault. Turns out there's a dent in the bottom. So I didn't realize that it was crooked, so not my fault. I'm gonna have linked down below a lot of the tools and things that I use in this video. I'll have a link for these QuickJacks. Of course, double check which ones are gonna fit your car. And then all the little accessories, the oil change stuff, little things here and there. The crawler worked really well. I've had that since Christmas. Haven't really been able to use it because you can't get it under the car with jack stands. And it was really sweet to be able to use the crawler under this. I didn't use it in the second part because it was covered in oil. So again, that was that pan's fault. But nonetheless, really cool to get this car 2 feet in the air to make it super simple to work on it. Same for the BMW. And I'm really happy that the ELX ends up fitting both cars. Now, you can either leave these on the floor like this, kind of on the side of your garage. It does fit really well. However, I just have it to where I rolled it up to the wall. I have it about 6 inches away from the wall on the bottom, and I just leaned it against like this. If you're gonna use these, make sure you don't just put these way up high to where all of the weight is hanging on these. Have them set up to where they're gonna be just a little below, so they're a loose fit to where you lift the jacks onto it, but they're sitting on the ground. And this is more of just a precaution so it doesn't slide forwards. But I might just leave them the way they are here and do some sort of bracket quick release from this big stud over it, just in case it ever were to fall forward, which pretty unlikely given the angle. But that is it then for today's video. Finally getting QuickJacks. I'm excited to use these with the crawler, especially. It's gonna make working on the cars so much more fun. And throughout yesterday and today's adventures with these two cars, kind of learning how to use it. Once you learn how to do it, 5-10 minutes to get everything set up. And once the car's in the air, you are good to go to work on your cars. That is it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button. Stay tuned for plenty more content, and I'll see you all in the next video.